The quiet moments just before dawn hold a peculiar quality, a stillness where time seems suspended. Have you ever felt in those moments of solitude that unmistakable sense that your life has a deeper purpose? That feeling isn't random. It's the whisper of your soul's memory. Edgar Cayce, America's most documented psychic of the 20th century, accessed remarkable insights while in trance states. Through thousands of readings conducted in Virginia Beach, he revealed that each soul enters physical existence with specific intentions, what he called life lessons and soul missions. Think about those inexplicable moments in your own life. Perhaps it was an instant connection with a stranger who later became significant in your journey. Or maybe it was that persistent calling toward a particular profession or cause, even when logic suggested otherwise. The Grand Canyon wasn't formed in a day, and neither was your soul's purpose. Consider Sarah from Colorado, who spent decades pursuing corporate success, yet felt an emptiness no promotion could fill. At 45, she encountered Cayce's work and recognized her true calling as a healer, something she had dismissed since childhood. It wasn't about starting over, she reflected, but about remembering who I'd always been. What makes certain places feel like home, even when you've never visited them before? Why do specific historical periods fascinate you beyond casual interest? Cayce suggested these aren't coincidences, but echoes of your soul's previous experiences. The soul, according to Cayce's readings, doesn't randomly bounce between lifetimes. It carefully selects circumstances, relationships, and challenges that provide opportunities for growth. The struggles you face today may be precisely what your soul chose to encounter, not as punishment, but as catalysts for awakening. When you feel that unexplainable resonance with certain values, when you discover abilities that seem to come naturally despite minimal practice, you're experiencing what Cayce described as soul memory, skills and wisdom carried forward from previous incarnations. In the quietness of reflection, ask yourself, what situations consistently appear in your life? What relationships seem strangely familiar? What causes stir your passion beyond rational explanation? These patterns contain clues to understanding your soul's mission in this lifetime. The ordinary moments of your day contain extraordinary messages, if you're willing to notice them. That career path that keeps presenting itself despite your other plans, the recurring themes in your dreams, the consistent feedback you receive from others about your natural gifts. These aren't coincidences, they're signposts. Edgar Cayce spoke often about what he called the Book of Life, a metaphorical record of the soul's experiences across time. During his readings, he would describe how each soul carries imprints from previous existences that shape current talents, challenges, and relationships. These patterns form what might be called your soul's blueprint, a design that guides your journey in this lifetime. Consider the experience of Michael, a schoolteacher from Minneapolis. Throughout his life, he felt drawn to working with children with special needs. Despite having no family history in this field, the connection felt instinctive, beyond explanation. Through studying Cayce's work, Michael came to understand this as a soul mission carried forward, a continuation of work his soul had committed to across multiple lifetimes. When I'm working with these kids, Michael explained, time disappears. There's a sense of purpose that goes beyond job satisfaction. It feels like remembering rather than learning. Cayce's readings suggest that we often incarnate in soul groups, clusters, of beings who journey together across multiple lifetimes, sometimes exchanging roles, but continuing to support each other's growth. That unexplainable bond with certain friends or family members, that person who challenges you in ways that catalyze profound growth, these relationships likely have roots extending far beyond this lifetime. Pay attention to your natural affinities and aversions. Do you feel unusually comfortable with certain cultures or time periods? Do specific injustices trigger a response in you that feels almost personal? Your soul may be responding to memories of direct experience with these circumstances. In previous incarnations, the physical body itself often carries these soul memories. That unexplained chronic pain, the birthmark in an unusual location, the health condition that emerged without family history. Cayce suggested these sometimes represent unresolved experiences from past lives, seeking healing and integration in the present. Look at your life's challenges through this deeper lens. What if your struggles with trust aren't simply the result of childhood experiences, but part of a soul lesson carried across time? What if your natural abilities weren't random, genetic luck, but skills your soul has been refining through many existences? In the quiet moments of honest reflection, ask yourself, what feels like your deepest, truest work in this world? When do you lose track of time in the flow of meaningful contribution? These aren't just preferences, they're glimpses of your soul's mission unfolding. The word karma has become commonplace in American culture, often simplified to mean what goes around comes around. But Edgar Cayce described a far more nuanced understanding, not as punishment or reward, but as opportunities for the soul to grow through balance and completion. Think about the patterns that persistently appear in your life. Perhaps you consistently attract certain types of relationships, face similar challenges in different settings, or find yourself drawn to particular causes despite logical reasons to focus elsewhere. Cayce would suggest these recurring themes aren't random coincidences, but meaningful karmic patterns designed to guide your soul toward its mission. Consider John from Seattle, who built a successful law practice but felt increasingly called to environmental advocacy. Despite his rational mind arguing against the career shift, something deeper kept pulling him toward protection of natural resources. Through studying Cayce's work, John recognized this wasn't merely interest, but a soul-level commitment, possibly balancing actions from previous lifetimes where he may have participated in environmental exploitation. When I finally allowed myself to follow this calling, John shared, it wasn't just satisfaction I felt, but a profound sense of alignment, like I was finally doing what I came here to do. Cayce's readings frequently described how souls choose specific circumstances for each incarnation, not haphazardly but with intentional purpose. That inexplicable fear you've carried since childhood, the natural talent that emerged without training, the cause that moves you to tears when others remain unmoved. These aren't random aspects of personality, but meaningful clues to your soul's journey across time. Pay attention to what Cayce called soul attractions, those people, places, or situations that evoke inexplicably strong reactions in you. The historical injustice that keeps drawing your attention, the country you've dreamed of visiting without knowing why, the stranger who immediately felt like family. These attractions often point toward unfinished business or continued work your soul has chosen to address in this lifetime. In the heartland of America, Emily worked as a nurse for 20 years. While competent and caring, she always sensed something missing until she began incorporating holistic approaches into her practice. It felt like remembering rather than learning, she explained. According to Cayce's perspective, Emily might have been accessing healing methods her soul had mastered in previous incarnations. The most challenging relationships in your life may actually be your greatest teachers. Cayce suggested that souls often reincarnate together specifically to work through unresolved issues, create balance, or continue supportive connections. That difficult family member or challenging colleague might be present in your life by soul-level agreement, offering opportunities for growth that your higher self recognized as essential to your mission. Ask yourself, what lessons keep appearing until you fully learn them? What work feels not just satisfying but necessary? Where do you feel a responsibility that extends beyond personal benefit? These persistent patterns contain profound insights about what your soul came here to accomplish. The modern American lifestyle rarely encourages deep contemplation of our spiritual nature. Between career demands, family responsibilities, and the constant digital connections of our contemporary world, the soul's quiet voice often goes unheard. Yet Edgar Cayce consistently emphasized that recognizing and fulfilling our soul's mission isn't just a spiritual luxury. It's essential to our deepest well-being and happiness. Have you ever experienced that unsettling emptiness that persists despite achieving external success? That restlessness that follows checking all the conventional boxes of accomplishment? Cayce would suggest this discomfort serves a vital purpose. It's your soul's way of signaling misalignment with your deeper purpose. Consider the experience of Robert, a successful executive from Chicago. By his mid-40s, he had achieved everything society deemed valuable: financial security, professional respect, family stability. Yet he described feeling successful, but not fulfilled. Through encountering Cayce's work, Robert began understanding this disconnect as a soul-level call to integration. His corporate skills weren't meant to be abandoned, but redirected toward mentoring disadvantaged youth, work that finally brought him a sense of purpose beyond achievement. The strangest part, Robert reflected, was that once I started this work, synchronicities began appearing everywhere. Resources, connections, opportunities, It felt like the universe was responding to my alignment. Cayce's readings frequently described what he called soul memory, the capacity for the conscious mind to access the wisdom and experiences gathered through many lifetimes. This isn't merely about recalling past lives, but about recognizing the accumulated insights your soul has gained throughout its journey. That intuitive knowing that guides your decisions, the wisdom that seems beyond your years or experience, the creative inspiration that arrives fully formed. These may all be expressions of your soul's memory, activating in service to your purpose. Pay attention to your dreams, not just their content, but their emotional resonance. Cayce considered dreams a primary channel through which the soul communicates its wisdom and guidance. The recurring symbol, the persistent theme, the solution that appears while sleeping. These dream messages often contain specific guidance about your soul's intention for this lifetime. Throughout the heartland of America, Linda worked as an elementary school teacher, feeling competent but not inspired. Her dreams repeatedly showed her working with adults in healing capacities, images she initially dismissed as fantasy. When life circumstances eventually led her to trauma counseling work with veterans, she experienced what Cayce might have called soul recognition, that unmistakable sense of finally being on the right path. It wasn't about abandoning teaching, Linda explained, but about recognizing that the core of my teaching gift, creating safe spaces for growth, was meant for a different application than I had assumed. The most reliable sign of alignment, that with your soul's purpose isn't external success, but internal resonance, that sense of rightness that persists even through challenges. When work doesn't deplete, but energizes you despite its demands. When contribution feels less like sacrifice and more like self-expression. When you're willing to overcome obstacles, not just for outcome, but because the journey itself matters deeply. These are hallmarks of soul alignment that Cayce described throughout his readings. What calls to you beyond logical explanation? What work would you do even if recognition never came? Where do you feel drawn to serve even when it's inconvenient? Your answers reveal glimpses of your soul's mission unfolding in real time. Across the American landscape, from bustling cities to quiet rural communities, people experience what Cayce called soul tests, challenging circumstances that aren't random hardships, but purposeful catalysts designed to awaken specific qualities essential to fulfilling your mission. These difficulties aren't punishments, but opportunities carefully selected by your higher self before incarnation. Consider how water reveals its path by flowing around obstacles. Similarly, your soul's purpose often becomes visible through how you naturally respond to life's challenges. Do you instinctively offer counsel during others' difficulties? Do you automatically organize community response during crises? Do you intuitively understand complex systems when others see only chaos? These natural responses reveal soul-level capacities developed across many lifetimes. Thomas from Arizona spent decades battling chronic illness while pursuing a conventional career path. The persistent health challenges eventually forced him to abandon his original plans and discover unexpected gifts in digital communication, creating online communities for others facing similar conditions. What seemed like my greatest limitation, he shared, ultimately revealed my most meaningful contribution. Cayce's readings frequently described how souls choose specific limitations or challenges in each lifetime, not as punishment but as catalysts for particular growth. That health condition that altered your plans, the financial constraint that forced creative solutions, the relationship that required profound forgiveness. These circumstances may represent intentional soul tests designed to develop qualities essential to your purpose. Pay attention to what Cayce called points of decision, those crossroads moments where the easy path diverges from the growth path. The promotion that offers financial security but requires compromising values. The relationship that promises comfort but restricts authentic expression. The conventional treatment versus the intuitive approach. These decision points often reveal whether you're aligning with societal expectations or your soul's deeper knowing. In C, the suburbs of Detroit, Karen followed a traditional path until experiencing what many would call midlife crisis, but what Cayce might have termed soul awakening. After losing both her job and marriage in the same year, she discovered remarkable capacities for helping others navigate similar transitions. Looking back, she reflected, I can see how what seemed like my life falling apart was actually my life falling into alignment. The most meaningful challenges in your life often correlate directly with your soul's purpose. Cayce suggested that we frequently choose to experience the very difficulties we're ultimately meant to help others overcome. The communication challenge that led you to develop exceptional listening skills, the educational struggle that inspired innovative teaching methods, the health crisis that awakened holistic understanding. These aren't coincidental but purposeful aspects of your soul's journey. Ask yourself, what difficulties have ultimately revealed your greatest strengths? Which challenges have taught you compassion that mere success never could? What hardships have connected you with others in ways prosperity might not have? These soul tests contain profound clues about the unique contribution your soul came here to make. Cayce's readings consistently emphasize that Earth is a testing ground, not to judge souls, but to develop them through experience. The specific tests you've faced weren't random suffering, but precision instruments designed to cultivate exactly what your soul needs for its evolution and service. The patience developed through waiting, the compassion awakened through suffering, the innovation born from limitation. These qualities aren't incidental but essential to your soul's mission in this lifetime. The greatest misunderstanding about soul purpose is that it requires dramatic external change, abandoning your current life to pursue some grand spiritual calling. Edgar Cayce's readings tell a different story. For most souls, the mission isn't about what you do but how you do it, bringing a certain quality of consciousness to your everyday experiences. Look around your life right now. The relationships you've formed, the work you perform daily, the community where you live. What if these aren't random circumstances, but deliberately chosen soul environments, the perfect settings for your unique contribution? Cayce suggested that we often incarnate precisely where our soul gifts are most needed, even when those settings appear ordinary. Consider Maria from Texas, who worked as a grocery store cashier for 30 years. After encountering Cayce's work, she recognized that her consistent kindness toward customers, particularly elderly shoppers often invisible to others, wasn't just good customer service. It was her soul mission, manifesting in seemingly small but profound daily interactions. I realized I didn't need to change my job, she shared, but to fully embrace the purpose within it. Cayce's readings frequently emphasized that soul growth happens primarily through relationships, that difficult colleague constantly triggering your patience, the family member challenging your capacity for unconditional love, the community situation requiring you to find your voice. These relationships aren't accidental, but essential laboratories for developing the exact qualities your soul came to master. Pay attention to what Cayce called soul joy, those activities that generate a sense of meaning beyond mere pleasure, the volunteer work that energizes rather than depletes you, the creative expression that feels like remembering rather than learning, the service that brings satisfaction deeper than recognition could explain. These experiences often reveal your soul's natural mode of contribution. In a small Midwestern town, David worked as an accountant while harboring dreams of more meaningful work. Through studying Cayce's perspective, he began recognizing how his meticulous attention to detail wasn't just professional skill, but a soul-level gift for creating order from chaos. Rather than abandoning his profession, he began offering his services to struggling local non-profits and small businesses. My soul mission wasn't elsewhere, he reflected. It was about bringing consciousness to the work already before me. The most reliable compass for navigating your soul's path isn't external validation, but internal resonance, that sense of rightness that persists regardless of outcomes or recognition. When contribution feels less like sacrifice and more like authentic self-expression, when challenges engage rather than deplete your energy, when meaning remains even when external rewards don't materialize. These are hallmarks of alignment with your soul's intention. Ask yourself, where do I naturally offer value without being asked? What problems do I instinctively notice and address? What service would I continue providing even without recognition? Your honest answers reveal how your soul mission is already expressing itself through your natural inclinations. Cayce consistently emphasized that spiritual growth isn't separate from everyday life, but expressed through it. The patience practiced during your commute, the presence offered to a struggling friend, the integrity maintained in business decisions when no one would know the difference. These aren't minor details, but the very substance of your soul's work, manifesting in real time. Your soul didn't incarnate to escape the world's challenges, but to engage with them consciously. Not to find perfect circumstances, but to bring presence to imperfect ones. Not to await some future calling, but to recognize the mission already embedded within your daily life. This is the profound yet practical wisdom Cayce offered, that your most meaningful purpose isn't waiting somewhere else, but inviting your recognition right where you stand. What's one small yet meaningful way you might bring more consciousness to your existing relationships, work, and community today? In that intention lies the living expression of your soul's mission, unfolding in this very moment.